Reginald,
Yes.
thanks for joining. Welcome at Build Your Strength, and today we're talking to Reginald Dalce. Reginald is an entrepreneur working since a lot of years on the Universal Language Translator, and he has a great vision to minimize the barrier of language in the world. And today we're talking about the journey with him and about his roots, his personality, his topics he had, his obstacles, and so on. And so my very first question for you, you was born in the Caribbean area and grew up in Florida. How did you came over while you're living in Germany?
That's a very good question. As you were saying that, I'm originally from Haiti, and I moved to Florida when I was about 14 years old, and I joined the military when I was a little bit later in age, and that's how I ended up here in Germany. Back in 2005, that was my first time here in Germany, and I decided after I got out of the military to do something different, and that's when I actually started the ULT project.
Where did the idea come from? So when did you have the first ideas into that direction?
Well, the idea from ULT started a long time ago. A girlfriend of mine gave me a 16-language translator back in college, and as I was using it, you have to type the phrase that you wanted to say it, and afterward you have to actually try to pronunciate the word in another language that is totally unfamiliar to your native. So to me, after trying to use it a few times, the idea came to my mind. It's like, why don't I just speak onto this thing and have it come out at the other end the way I wanted to. And that was back in 1995. And the idea stayed with me over the years. And when I got out of the military, I had a little bit of money saved up after I was 14 months in Iraq. And the option was to buy a house or get a new car. And something inside of me said, do something different. So I took a chance, and I actually went to California. I spoke with an attorney, and I put a patent on the idea. The patent took from 2011 and actually was officially fully rewarded in 2018, January.
Oh, that's a really long time.
Yes.
How did you survive? So from the idea to really getting the patent, did you plan already building a company and productize, or was it just, hey, I'm securing the idea and looking after what's going to happen?
Exactly. I didn't want to do everything like everyone else was doing. So basically my first thought were, after studying the market for that long period of time, and I realized that everybody was doing the same thing. They were copying everything what the other company were doing. Everybody was taking a dictionary and translating it and putting it in a device and calling it a translator. And for me at that time, when I realized that mine was going to be different, is when I decided to say, okay, I've been blessed to live in different countries, and one thing I noticed is that voice recognition and voice mimicking is something that's very important to communication. So as I'm talking to you, so with Universal Language Translator, when you're talking to it, eventually, it's going to be your natural voice that's going to come out, not any robotic or any fake voice. So that was one of my things that I thought about from the beginning. And also, another key to conversation also is the dialect. And the dialect, you have to basically know the region that you're traveling, and so you can actually speak with the same dialect of the natives. And I said to myself, well, if I can put the combination of the dialect detection that works simultaneously with the region locator, with the voice recognition, voice mimicking, because I wanted to have something that people can actually speak, not to type and to try to read or anything like that. So we try to make something people that are on the go, they can use it. So I said to myself, when I spoke to my attorney about it, he was a little bit skeptical himself about the ideas until it took him about like another 4 days to do extensive research. Then he told me those 3 ideas that I have to put on the patent were novelty worth. So later on I had to go back to the pay again so they can actually file the patent. So those are the 3 things actually I have on ULT that are different, completely different than anything else in the market, which is the voice recognition, voice mimicking, the dialect detection with the region locator. We also have a noise filtration that enable you to use the app in a noisy environment and have it come out clearly as if you were talking in a quiet room.
And did the experience from the army help you? So learning all the discipline to get things done, or what, from your point of view, what has been the most important habit for you to survive all the long time and stay on the long run?
My experience at the army really helps me because it showed me that from the basic training, never quit. If you start something, you have to finish it.
Yeah.
And that's the attitude I have from the beginning. As we were talking about never quit, when I first started the idea back in 2011, I sat down and across the table from a gentleman. He looked at me in my eyes and told me that this idea will never work because everybody else tried it before. What make you think he was talking to me that you can be the one that do it? Mm-hmm. And I told him it will work. And till this day, I'm looking for him because we just had the first step, and all the other steps are lined up to take place sometime in the next coming years. But we still have to wait a little bit longer so we can implement the core part of the patent into the app right now.
And had this been a point which was more motivating for you, or was it more a point where you said, well, am I doing the right thing here, or did you struggle somewhere? And
no, that was my motivation.
Okay.
I'm glad that he said that to me because to me it's like when I have an idea and somebody dare me to do it, I will do it just because you told me I can do it. So to me, I think that was the best advice he could ever tell me.
Okay.
That it will never work. Because I was studying the market for a long time. I knew it was gonna work. I knew that it would work. So now, like I said, I'm still looking for him.
Yeah. Okay. That's so far that's incredible. And what are your next step? What is your vision? So for the next 5 years, so or maybe 10. So just the outlook. What is the vision you're following?
Well, the vision of this technology. So right now we have the app, which is basically a proof of concept of the idea behind what we're doing. The vision is bigger than that because our concept of ULT is to implement this technology on every living industry that is actually right now functioning in the world. We're talking about for transportation, airline industry, video game, you name it. We would like to be part of it because right now one of the most common blockage that people are facing right now because of globalization is communication and understanding each other. We figure we're gonna take another route by customizing this app to fit the purpose of our customer. So we will be focusing more on specific language and specific, not just language, we're talking about like a library. So let's say, for example, we would like to implement it into the medical field. We will implement the medical library into our app. So basically, people that work in a hospital can communicate with their patient, although they're not from the same country, they can understand each other very well.
So just for somebody who didn't work with that or who doesn't have any idea how it's working, could you explain just a sample with a hospital, for instance, how it's working, where you want to implement it, and how will it work in the practical environment?
In the practical environment, we have two versions right now. Actually, the first one is basically you can have it on the iPad or on the phone, and you can one-on-one and communicate with the patient. But for the hospital portion part of it, because of specification, we want to make sure that I have something that 99.9% accurate because of the sensitivity of being in a medical field. It will be implemented in the background within the app, the medical language, the vocabulary, the whole library. So as they speak to one another in different languages, it will translate not just word for word, but with the content of their conversation also.
So having the people in the hospital, the doctor and the team, everybody's talking in his language, and simultaneously the translator gives the other language.
Yes. And right now, the version that we have right now, people can actually do something almost similar to that. It's the conference call, where right now we're starting out because we're testing it. You can do like 5 people on a conference call, and pretty much that one person talk and it goes out in 4 different languages. The other people will actually hear them in their respective language. Eventually, I like to have it at least a minimum of 20. And later on, we can actually grow onto a bigger phase. So you can have an international conference and everybody sitting in the prospective home office and they can listen to your voice talking their language.
And if we're looking for really today, what is the biggest obstacle at the moment to speed up or go farther, grow bigger in a higher pace?
The biggest obstacle for every startup is always funding.
Okay.
And we are no different than all the other startups on the market right now. Right now, basically, we're looking for investors, and one of the most important things that we're looking forward to, not just people to invest, but we're looking for partners also. This is why I come up with the idea that calls it's the strategic partnership alliance, meaning the investor can spend not too much money, they get a little piece of the company for equity, but also whatever business they bring in the back end, they will get a bigger portion of that. So that gives us a great range of different investors to bring on board. And once the portion that we set aside to give to investors going, other people can still come and bring us their business to actually to customize the app for them. And then they will get a percentage of whatever they bring us at the end for that. So that's where basically we're looking at heading eventually.
Okay. Beside the app, it sounds very close to run it in a conference call.
Mm-hmm.
So this is really, I'm talking in, and it's spreading out different languages in this call.
Yes, you can do that. And also we're gonna look at making like a box or something similar to like Alexa, where basically you can have it in a room and people can actually log onto it with Bluetooth access, and then you can put it in your own language, and then you can actually have your earplug and you can hear it in your own language.
Ah, okay.
With the voice of the person that is talking. That is the key behind
Yeah,
house.
yeah.
So that's where we're going with that.
Okay. Sounds like a great idea.
Yes, it is. And as our models go, it's one world, one language. We figure with better communications, better understanding, less war.
Yeah, that's a good slogan. We could close the conversation now, because that's exactly the most important.